We're on there.
We're on. Hello, everybody, and welcome
Good
to
morning.
Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined by.
I am your other host, Ryan. Thank you for having me.
I had to mute the live on the other because I was hearing myself twice.
We have a lot of action this morning, everybody, as
Yes.
usual.
Yes. All right, let's roll that intro.
Sounds like bones, like a skeleton dancing.
Did it
The
sound weird
rattle.
on your end?
It just sounded like bones rattling. Did not sound weird.
Okay, it sounded weird on my end.
Bones always sound good rattling to me, James.
Hang on just one second. My dog came in.
That's all right. It
Come on,
makes me
baby.
think of Armageddon and the Jehovah's Witnesses having to clean up all the bodies, the scourge of bodies that will be upon the land because they're just not
Like I
good enough
said,
for
the
God.
action never
So, yeah,
stops.
good intro. What'd you say?
The action never stops.
The action never stops. This is a live action newsroom, guys. The news
Live.
is coming in at all times.
Oh,
James just had to let the dog out. What's going to happen next?
who let the dogs out? Woo, woo, woo. Oh,
Wrong show.
I don't think anybody wants me singing, anyways.
Probably not.
All right. Well, for today's first topic, I was going to start off with this article here in from the Washington Times here.
Okay. What's the
And
Washington Times got for us?
Seattle Times, sorry.
Oh, get it right,
Well,
please.
Seattle, Washington Times. I mean, come on.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Wherever they are over there.
So, if you remember back in 2018, there was this person who set a Kingdom Hall on fire.
I do remember that.
Are you seeing it on the screen right now with my screen share?
I am not seeing it yet on the YouTube, my friend.
Oh boy, let's.
Where do we have our
There
technical
it is.
guru?
It's
Excuse me.
it's supposed to be me.
They're
I'm,
not paying you enough, James.
they're not. No. Do you see it now?
I do not see it now, friend. Sorry.
Should see it now. Oh, this is annoying. I hate
It's
when
professional.
technology doesn't cooperate with you.
Yeah, you know.
Let's see. Let me try this again. There we go. That should work now. Do you see it now?
I do not see it yet.
Well, let's see. That is so weird because it's saying,
It's saying it's showing on your end.
yeah, it should be. Because it tells me to remove it. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Whatever you did, it something
I had
worked.
there's this one button I have to hit for transition when we go live, and apparently I have to hit it too for when I share something on the screen. I didn't know that.
Well, now we know you got to transition. Everybody needs to transition sometimes, James.
I'm
And obviously, you needed to today. You needed
I
to transform, and we
I
appreciate you.
I am now trans.
Be vulnerable for our audience. All right, what do you got for us out of Seattle?
Okay, so back in 2018, this dude set a Kingdom Hall on fire, and they there was people inside when he did it, and now this guy, whose name is Starrett, he is being indicted for this. He faces additional counts of damage to religious property, which is considered a hate crime.
Oh shit!
3 counts of using a firearm to commit a federal felony in connection with the arson, and he is due to be arraigned for this. So, and this is one of those things. Okay, while we might disagree with the religion itself, I don't agree with you going and setting their places of worship
No,
on fire. That's
no, I
just
don't.
crap thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let people be in peace.
Yeah, I agree. Like being any kind of behavior that is extreme, like shunning, for instance, don't agree with that either. Harming people, even though I don't agree with how the Jehovah's Witnesses practice and preach. I don't agree with their religion at all. Matter of fact, I would never want to harm, like physically harm somebody or their property because that just makes you look stupid, quite frankly. Like nobody's gonna look at you and go like, "Oh wow, what a brave soul!" After all they've been through with the Jehovah's Witness organization and being harmed, they set fire to a Kingdom Hall. Wow, so brave. No, that's to me that's not bravery, and it makes the rest of us look kind of extreme. And we live up to the name apostate, I guess you could say. Even though I say f that name, and I don't care if I'm an apostate, but they make us look like we're weird. So yeah, please don't do
Well, I mean,
that.
when you put the name apostate on somebody, you're demonizing that person's character.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody who is ex-member of the religion goes and does something like that, that just further reinforces the groupthink to think, oh my God, these apostates are so crazy. We need to get even closer and deeper into this organization and really shut our minds off and never look outside of what our own little box here.
Yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, I think it will drive most people away and away from like your message of trying to free them because they're going to see this organization as their place of refuse. That's where they go to get more indoctrinated and get fed this bullshit. So don't send them back to the belly of the beast. We've got to try to reach these people. And I know that a lot of times my message probably goes over their head. I think my message is probably more so for people who have questions and are already at that stage where they're like not sure what to believe, so I can give them a little education, but I can't just go up to somebody and shake them free. It's just not going to work. We've got to find out how to reach hearts, and setting a building on fire, though it might feel good for that like 2 seconds, like you just ruined your credibility, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's no more so than any of these other extremists that want to do things like
Right. And
like
I can't
raid a
be down
Capitol
with that.
building.
Yes, right? What's like how are we differentiating here?
Exactly.
Who's right or wrong?
Yeah,
Not we just have to say like being extreme is just not the way to go. Communication is our best bet.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, what do you have for us here?
All right, y'all. So everybody is asking me every single day, have I heard any information in regards to the Spanish Victims Association that is being sued by the Jehovah's Witness organization in Spain? And unfortunately, I do not have an update yet. The case could still be being heard in court. So I'm waiting on pins and needles like the rest of us are. What I do have, though, as I was searching, of course, I got a little like excited thinking I had an update. And no, what I got was a womp womp letdown because this article is from our best friend, Massimo. I mean, Massimo Intervene, who is the lawyer for the Jehovah's Witnesses. If you all didn't know, they hired Massimo in 2020 because they've been getting themselves in the predicament of losing a lot of their rights, and it's because of what they do to their members with shunning, no blood, covering up of child abuse because of the two-person law, etc., etc. And instead of trying to change the behaviors that the organization has that puts people in these situations, they spent their money on this very high profile, I would say, apologist. He's an occult apologist, and I'd say that he doesn't have very good ethics if his skin in this game is to protect big business church instead of the children who are being harmed. So anyway, I took a look at this article. It is a lot of apologetics. Of course, we see him trying to garner sympathy by bringing up immediately, this is the game, this is the game down to a T that cults play, of the victim, because the Holocaust is all about them. Meanwhile, you know, Jews went through a genocide, a freaking genocide of their people, a hunt and destroy. And the Jehovah's Witnesses, yeah, sure, they had some issues because of their behaviors. Why did they have these behaviors? Because they were being fed misinformation from Rutherford. And we have a few Jehovah's Witnesses who end up getting caught in the crossfire because of what the misinformation they're being fed by the organization. And it is always the go-to Jehovah's Witnesses use. We're being persecuted, excuse me, persecution. Okay, that was then, and this has nothing to do with what you're going through. And if anything, you are probably one of the organizations who puts Jewish people in a bad position because of your teachings. Your teachings are anti-Semitic. So why
Exactly.
why not address that? Let's address the fact that you're putting Jewish people into situations like the Holocaust because of your teachings,
And
because of
I'll,
your supremacist teachings. I mean, that's really all I have to say about it, James. Like, it's a shit situation. People with billions of dollars can afford this
well,
lawyer, but the victims can't.
also, I was going to say that prosecution is not persecution either.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
and that's one thing that they like to cry wolf about. Oh, we're being prosecuted because somebody's coming after us in court. Well, if you look at the reasons why they're doing it, you'd understand why they're doing it and try to have a little empathy instead of trying to
Thank
just
you.
take the side of a cult that is actively trying to harm people.
Yeah, I mean, basically, this article takes the Spanish Association of Victims, and what this association it's a lot of people who have come together after being harmed inside of the organization, and decided to, basically sue the Jehovah's Witnesses for whatever, whatever might have happened, if it was child abuse or disfellowshipping and then passing away because of it, being alienated from your parents. I know there was one situation where somebody hadn't talked to their parents in 17 years. I mean, this is destroying families. And meanwhile, these few people, this 70 whatever people that have gotten together, are the victims of the organization. But here we go. We go back to the Jewish Holocaust and persecution, and somehow these victims who've been persecuted are now turned into Goliath. And David is $1 billion corporation and
Mm-hmm.
their rich ass, unethical lawyer.
Exactly.
Whoa. Wow, man. Yeah, I really feel bad for the Jehovah's Witnesses, don't you? Wow. It must be so hard with millions of dollars and a good lawyer.
And you think about the witnesses themselves, if you especially the Spanish victims, how they if they've been especially if they've been raised as a witness, encouraged not to get education, so they're more than likely working class people like you and me, who are barely making it day by day sometimes, and
Excellent point.
they don't have the funding and money to go buy these high power attorneys to defend themselves against these attacks. And so that's only going to put even more harm and pressure on these people to stand up for what their rights really are.
Right. And let the world know, look at what this church is doing to us. This sets them apart. This makes you feel like they are chosen people. This behavior seems to me like a tyrant. This seems to me like a bully who is wielding their power, their money, their organizational skills. They
Mm-hmm.
have so many things at their advantage that you and I simply do not have. Yet somehow we've got this powerful lawyer writing
Yeah.
articles about, how they're getting persecuted. Oh, I love the gaslighting.
And he's
Top notch, Messimo.
and the Jehovah's Witnesses aren't the only cult that he works for either.
No,
So
Moonies. I
so
know.
my point is he's not just sticking up trying to stick up for Jehovah's Witnesses. He's sticking
Yeah.
up for other cults as well.
You're
So
right.
he's not only doing it on one platform, he's doing it across multiple platforms, causing who
Around the
knows how
world.
much harm.
You're right. That's an excellent point. And this is all around the world that he's doing this. But yeah, he's been involved with Scientology, the Moonies. And if y'all don't know anything about the Moonies, I can't even give you like a huge rundown of what they are, but they are a super extreme cult that involves guns and weaponry. And I'm not trying to get too, like, I don't want to get political, but Trump met with the Moonies at one of their organizational things. Sorry, I can't
A
think of what
rally.
the yeah, like some kind of rally. He spoke. It just goes to show you how these groups are intrinsically tied with each other because they have control,
Yeah.
and they do not want to relinquish that control. Everything they have everything swayed to their advantage. Every time lawmakers try to hold them accountable and maybe change laws to make it easier for a victim to come forward, they will write letters. They have campaigns. So, like the clergy penitent law, they have had huge letter writing campaigns to sway government officials to not make the laws more readily accessible for you and I so we can hold them accountable. I mean, and then I just don't understand how they're the ones who are flip the script and make us look like the bad guy.
Well, I mean, that's what any
It's
cult
wild.
needs to do to maintain their control and their power.
Yeah,
Because if they
it's their
look like the
MO.
bad guy and people start really seeing them for who they really are, they're going to have a mass exodus. And
Yeah.
they're not going to keep getting their money with people leaving the religion.
No, and that is always the main goal as being able to keep their members dumb. And I think you even mentioned it. I think hugely the big part of the reason why we're kept dumb is because then we're afraid to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know, like look, I know I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. And for a long time, it did keep me silent because I know I stumble over my words. My thoughts fall out of my head as soon as I get them. I struggle so often with just ADHD and things like that. And they know. They know that because they implanted that thought in me that I'm not worthy of
Mm-hmm.
standing up for myself. Number one, just because I don't have an education, but number two, I'm a woman. So why should I have a voice? And that is what they're expecting. But I encourage everybody, regardless of what they've tried to tell you about yourself, don't be fearful. We are all out here struggling together, but it's our voices in harmony that is going to bring these guys down. It's us uniting that's going to bring them down. It doesn't have to be just on my shoulders. We can do it together, regardless if you think you're stupid like me.
Well, I will point
Still do
out,
it.
I will point out though that you did a video on your YouTube channel not too long ago about where you do your research at.
Oh,
It's
yes.
it's only like a 7 minute video for anybody watching. Go check out that video. It, you don't have to be smart to look up stuff on the internet. You just have to be resourceful. And sometimes, like,
Resources are important, getting the right resources.
exactly. And you have found some good resources. And one of the things that I've appreciated about what you do is you share those resources with others. And I think
Thank
that's
you.
very important because sometimes people will go on and do a video and, okay, I got this resource and this is what this said and this what, and then by the time you're done watching the video, you have no idea what the resource even is.
Right. It's just snippets of something.
And so, and I know a lot of people put their stuff in the descriptions and everything, and that's all well and good, but even then, it's like it doesn't stick to go and look at it when you're done watching the video because, hey, I got to move on with my life now. I got to go do something else. So I think your video about your resources is important because now you're focused. Okay, this is what I'm watching this video for, to find out what these resources is. Now maybe I'll write them down and go look at them. So, like I said, great little video.
Thank you.
It's only for anybody watching. It's only like 7 minutes
I
long, so
tried to keep
easy
it
to
very short
digest.
because I know how my brain takes information. And sometimes I think long format videos are fine. There's just a lot of information to put in there, but I thought keep it short and simple. If I find even more resources, I promise you that I will add that on. But yeah, just knowing how to find researched papers. I mean, these are people like, okay, I might not have went to school, but these are people who've got their PhD, their MD, whatever, in, specifically like biblical literacy. And that is what we're aiming here for. We want to be biblically literate. So whenever they put bullcrap in our faces, we can go, that's wrong. I know that's wrong. So that's what it's about. And go take a look at that
So,
resource video, and you might find yourself something that you're interested in reading, or they might have something, that you can search for.
anyways, we need to wrap things up here.
Wrap it up, B. Wrap it up.
I'm gonna share one last thing before we go. Um, Part of this channel is to promote books and everything, and so I am going to promote a friend of mine's book here. If
Oh,
it'll
poop.
show on the
I was
screen.
going to grab my comic book this week. Have to grab it for next week.
Let's see here. So my friend here is her name is Mary Byler, and she is ex-Amish, and she wrote a book here, and it is called Reflection and Memories of an Amish Misfit. And if you are interested in getting it, please check it out. I've already got it. I haven't started reading it yet, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be reading it at work, so probably not till next month because I'm on break now. But I just want to give a shout out to her and hope everybody can get this book and help support her.
Yeah, Mary is awesome. I did an interview with her the other day on Skeptic Haven, and she went into, why she doesn't call herself an ex Amish, because being Amish is an ethno religion. It's just like Jewish people. You can't take the Jewish out of the person. They might not be religious, but they were born, you know, into into a religion that's been so, you know, Amish. I'm speaking of inbred in ways. So now they have their own genetical
Right, right.
defects and things like that. So you can't take the Amish out of her. And I loved how she explained it. So y'all should go take a look at that. But definitely get the book. It's on my list. I am going to get that book. Yeah.
And that's all we have for today. We will be back. When will we be back?
Are we back next week?
No, not next. We're gonna take next week off because of the
Okay,
holidays.
that's it. I quit.
Well, I mean, you could just run the show yourself.
That's okay. I quit. I'll take a vacation.
So I was gonna ask you if you wanted to shoot for the 4th or the 11th.
That works for me. Either one.
All right, we'll discuss it off air in between, I guess. So, in the meantime, keep in touch, and everybody, please subscribe and like the videos if you can. And thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.